What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today we're gonna be taking things... Yes, that's right. You might notice that my voice sounds weird. Well, this is because I just got sinus surgery. Sinus surgery. Yeah, so I'm tired and healing and don't really want to make a whole video with flipping in the works. So instead, we're gonna sit back, relax, and learn how to maintain our knives. By the way, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Also, I'm reviewing the Max Ace Serpent Striker soon, so don't miss that. Anyways, here we go. Yes, indeed. Today we will be covering all of the fun details on how to keep your knife in tip-top flipping shape with a small aside on tuning. This should be a lot of useful information, so stay tuned. Before we get into all that though, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my amazing patrons, especially my VIPs like Logan and K-Money. All of your support makes each one of these videos possible, so thank you. Yeah, thanks. All right, so to get started, we're gonna go ahead and talk about-
Hey guys! We also have awesome shirts. We got this one. There's a white shark coming shirt. There's a red shark coming shirt. There's a cool ass pillow. We got masks and stuff. All today at willhurst.gay. That's the domain.
Yeah.
That's the, okay. Willhurst.gay, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. There he is.
Are we good? As I was saying, first up is oil. Oiling a balisong is extremely important to keeping it clean and operating correctly. Consider this, a balisong is used much more than a regular knife. When you deploy a folder, it only actions around the pivot once. Even if you play with your folder like a fidget, it's only actioning once each time that you activate it. Now, consider the balisong. In the standard open, you action the pivots 3 or 4 times each. Anytime you flip, you're constantly actioning the whole structure, causing wear to the pivots, blade, and washers. That's where oil comes in. Oil is double duty, making the action more smooth and protecting your parts all at the same time.
But Mr. Willhurst.gay, there's so many kinds of oil. What kind of oil should I...
Shh, hush now, dear child, and I will bestow upon you the knowledge of old. KPL. No, I'm serious. I've been flipping for a long time, and as such have tried basically every oil on the market, and I can say that the best one that I've tried so far is Knife Pivot Lube, also known as KPL. KPL, the regular thickness, is both thick enough that it stays where you place it, but also thin enough that it gives both washer and bushing knives great swing. Other oils I've tried include Dewa Real Oil, Bali Blood, Benchmade Blue Lube, and even Nano Oil, but none of them have held up as well as the KPL. Also, one other thing, if you do try different oils, make sure you completely remove one type of oil from your pivots before trying another. Mixing different oils is never a good idea as they can react in unexpected ways and make your swing much worse than if you had never used them at all. Okay, so now that you've got oil, how do you use it? Well, proper oiling is all about moderation. You can't just go squirting oil all over your balisong like it's an anime figurine. The best way I've found is to get a small drop at the end of the application needle and then touch the pivot with it so that it gets sucked into the washer by capillary action. Here, watch this. I just squeeze the bottle until I get a little drop on the end. Just like that, and then I touch the pivot. And as you can see, it gets sucked right in. Repeat this process on all 4 sides and you're good to go. One thing to note here is that you generally should not oil bearing balisongs if you can manage. I always suggest using a dry lubricant or no lubricant with bearing knives as it keeps dust from being attracted to the bearings and making things last longer. If you want to oil your bearing knife, just be careful and use oil in moderation to keep this from happening.
Well, Mr. Willhurst.gay, I got my balisong and I got the oil on it, but I don't know how much I gotta put it on the balisong.
Well, that depends a lot on how much you flip your bally, but for me, I usually oil once every day or so. One way you can tell if your balisong needs oil is if the sound becomes more sharp and ringy. When a balisong is properly oiled, it will reduce the sound and make it feel a bit more solid. Here, listen to this. I have my Atropos Kirot balisong, which I reviewed a while back, and it hasn't been oiled in a minute. As you can hear, it's got a bit of a sharp ring to it. Now, I'm gonna add some KPL. Now let's listen to how this sounds again. As you can hear, it's a lot more dull sounding than before, not nearly as sharp and ringy, and that's a good indicator that it is now well oiled. One other thing you can check is just by looking at the pivots. Can you see oil? If you can see oil on the pivots with your naked eye, you probably don't need more. Okay, so you've got it oiled up and you're flipping a bunch, but now your pivots are loose. Oh no! The pivots are loose!
Ah! Tighten the pivots, Scotty! We need the pivots!
The first thing you need here is a good quality bit. This is the most important thing that you should have other than your balisong itself. If you use a bad quality driver, you risk stripping your screws and your bit, which is just terrible. I suggest using Weehaw bits, as they are the best quality drivers I've been able to find so far. Speaking of good drivers, Squid Industries actually happens to sell a pack of Weehaw drivers that includes some KPL. This is a great pack to get if you are just getting into the hobby, as it'll cover most of your bases from tightening to lube, which is awesome. If you end up going with this option, consider using my affiliate code WillHirsch at checkout. It'll save you 10% and I'll get 5% of the revenue, so you get a discount and you're supporting me at the same time. Either way, once you've got some good bits, now you need to tighten the bally. The most important thing here is to make sure that you are using the correct size bit for your pivots. To check the size, pick one that looks kinda close, then insert the bit into the screw head and give it a wiggle. The bit should fit all the way into the screw and only wiggle a little bit. If there's a lot of wiggle, the bit is too small and it will strip your screws. If it won't fit in all the way, the bit is too big. Don't force it. Now, here's where I'm going to suggest you use Loctite. Loctite lets you keep all your screws set in place where you leave them and is basically a necessity for any balisong if you don't want to be adjusting it every time you flip it. You'll want to take the screw out of the pivot for this and make sure the screw and pivot are nice and clean. When applying Loctite, I like to use this little tool.
I'm a little tool.
This is a headphone cleaning tool used for cleaning out custom IEMs like these guys. It's got a little wire part that you can reach into the IEMs and help you kind of like dig out all your earwax. The reason these are useful for balisongs is twofold. First, when applying Loctite, shake up the bottle and then apply a small drop to the end of this tool. Shake it up. Gotta shake it up. Shake it. All right, so then you just want to apply a little drop to the end of the tool like that. Itsy bitsy. So we're gonna apply the drop right inside of there, just like that. Once you've done that, you can put the screw back in and tighten the pivot. What I do is tighten the pivot down as much as I can. And then if the bally locks up like this, what I do is I release it bit by bit until I get good swing again. Basically, you're trying to get as little play as possible, but still good swing. Repeat this with the other handle and you are good to go.
Well, gee, Mr. WillHirsch.gay, now that I got my balisong Loctite, the first thing to do is flip it right away.
No, do not, and I repeat, do not flip your balisong after applying Loctite. Give it at least 12 hours to set properly. I suggest applying Loctite at the end of the day before you go to bed so it can set overnight. That will give you the best chance of the Loctite holding. Now, the second reason that I love the headphone cleaning tool is that you can use it to degunk your balisong. The other end of the tool is a brush, as you can see, and you can use it to remove all of the dust and grime that builds up around the pivots of your balisong, just like this. If you don't have a headphone cleaning tool, you can also do this with a toothbrush, but as you can see, I just go in here and I kind of wipe around my pivots. You can see there's like some black gunk inside of there. Wipe it on out. Also, if you want one of these, or you want some Weehaw drivers, or the KPL, or anything else that I've mentioned in this video, we've got affiliate links to Amazon down below, so definitely check that out. Now, if you've done all of this and your balisong still has play, you may not have properly fitted washers. Sadly, there aren't many ways to fix this other than completely replacing the washers outright. For this, I keep a selection of my own washers in various thicknesses from 0.005 to 0.02 that I can swap in and out as needed. It is a long and time-consuming process, but the result can be worth it if you eventually find the perfect thickness that you're looking for. I'm not going to cover exactly how to do this in this video as it's a very long process, but there are links below if you want to buy some washers and try it for yourself. Alrighty, so we've talked about the pivots. Now, how do you care for the rest of the knife? Generally, the supplies here are super simple. The main thing I suggest getting is a good microfiber cleaning cloth, like the one that you would use to clean a car. These things are amazing at sucking up oils and keeping your knife looking in tip-top shape. Beside that, I would also get Q-tips for the hard-to-reach places and a brush, like the headphone tool or a toothbrush. To do a full cleaning of your Balisong handles, I suggest using Windex. Windex is great for this as it's safe to use on most metals and will help remove any residue that's built up over time and make your anodization look newer than before. Simply spray your microfiber cloth with the Windex like this, and then wipe down your knife. This will leave your handles nice and shiny, and it'll remove all of the excess oils that were making them look duller before. If you have gloves, I would suggest you use them for this part. Do not spray the Windex directly on your knife as it can mess up the pivots. Always use some kind of towel or cloth instead. After you've Windexed the handles and the blade, another thing you can do is use some of that oil that you applied to the pivots to your blade. This will help protect your blade and make any markings stand out more, such as laser etching or Damascus. To do this, simply run a small amount of oil across your blade, just like this. Just a small bit of oil, and then rub it in with your finger. Careful not to cut yourself. Once you've rubbed down the whole blade, wipe it off on a paper towel or on your microfiber cloth. This will leave a very thin layer of oil on the blade that will keep it nice and shiny. Congratulations, you now have a nice, clean knife that is tuned and ready to flip. Now get out of my face. Go away. I'm tired. Willhirsch.gay. But that's pretty much it for the moment. Do you have any Balisong maintenance suggestions? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments below and share your knowledge. Once again, I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters. Your support helps make each one of these videos possible, and I am forever grateful for that. If you want to join my supporters like Gideon and Skullcore, consider donating to my Patreon. Tiers start at just $3 a month and give you access to funny behind-the-scenes videos and our awesome Patreon-only Discord. Me and Brandon are both active on the Discord and love hanging out with everybody, so consider coming to say hi. Either way, thank you.
Seriously, thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Of course, don't forget to follow me on Instagram as @TheWillHirsch. On my Instagram, I post Balisong photos and video announcements, plus stories on what I'm working on. It's the best place to stay in the know on what's happening here. Also, don't forget to follow my camera guy @TheBrandonBaker. He posts awesome photography and videos and is 30% water. He truly is the best of us all. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the moment. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go perform routine maintenance on Brandon.
What?
Oh. So that's where that's been.